Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Anthony Joshua made an interesting comment about his upcoming fight with Oleksandr Usyk. He said that this guy doesn't really present any threats to him. He's just another guy. Now, of course, this does not mean that Anthony Joshua is going to underestimate him. He just believes that Oleksandr Usyk does not represent any real opposition to him, no challenges he hasn't met before in the boxing ring. Now, of course, Usyk's style is very different to many of the styles he has faced, but I believe what Anthony Joshua is trying to get at is he has faced the top guys in the heavyweight division, aside from Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Not for want of trying, of course, but he has faced many different styles, so therefore, this is just another different style. So he will be able to get the sparring right if he has the right time to prepare. Then Usyk should not be a problem for him, because when he has had that time, he's never lost a fight. I mean, he had the Ruiz loss, but that was because obviously he didn't have time to prepare, didn't have time to get the sparring partners in to prepare for that style. Look what happened the second time around. So when he has had a good 12-week camp, he hasn't lost a fight. And again, I know it seems like perhaps he is being too overconfident in thinking that Usyk doesn't represent any trouble for him. I believe that Anthony Joshua recognizes what is in front of him. He's not looking at the Chisora fight and he's not looking at the Chaz Witherspoon fight. He will be expecting a different kind of Usyk, because that was a different style he was facing in there with Chisora, much as it was against Chaz Witherspoon. I mean, Witherspoon was a fighter who was in and out of boxing at that time. He'd be 1 minute he'd be fighting, next minute he'd have like 19 months out. So he wasn't an extremely active fighter, and he was towards the end of his career as well. Given that, Chaz Witherspoon was just a move to heavyweight, just a fight to get his feet wet in the heavyweight division. Then came the Chisora fight, which was a bit different because you would expect Usyk to have found a little bit more of what the heavyweight division is about, having another training camp as well. Chisora was a very difficult fight for him because Chisora's style is difficult for anyone in the heavyweight division, let alone a cruiserweight coming up who is lighter, who isn't as strong, and has to try and keep him away. That's never going to be easy for a big guy, someone who is strong and powerful, let alone someone who is smaller and doesn't punch as hard as the other guys in the heavyweight division. Because we have seen many times what Derek Chisora brings to the table. He brings the heat, he brings that tenacity that he will not stop coming forwards. Now, it's great if a fighter is able to control him based off of having a big enough punch to hurt him when he comes forward, to discourage him from stalking them, but often that still doesn't work. He does move quite well on his way forward as well, bobs and weaves. He doesn't get marked up all that much on his way forward. He's better going forwards than he is going backwards. And there was, of course, Tyson Fury, who was able to outbox him. He hasn't necessarily got a one-punch knockout power like Dillian Whyte did, but the thing is with Tyson Fury is he boxed Derek Chisora a certain way. Oleksandr Usyk did not box him in that same way. Usyk at times was trying to fight Derek Chisora's way, and the reason behind that, I believe, is I don't think he felt it beneficial to go in there with Chisora, outbox him, and fight him the way he would normally fight. Because he's moving to the heavyweight division, and he needs to use this fight to try different things. That is why I believe he was so happy to take it, because he wasn't really that annoyed that he was stepping aside. He chose to. There was no exception granted by the WBO. He chose, okay, I'll fight Chisora while Anthony Joshua deals with Pulev, then we'll have our fight next year, which is the one that is coming up now. So he was happy to do that, and it meant that he had one more fight to try different things to see what might work and what might not in the heavyweight division. Now again, of course, Chisora is a different fighter to Anthony Joshua, but I do believe that Usyk was trying to gauge what he was able to do and what he was able to get away with in the heavyweight division, especially given he is a smaller man coming up. I mean, you cannot imagine Oleksandr Usyk as being someone who lets his emotions get the better of him, and he fights based off of those emotions. So he doesn't go in there with Chisora and Chisora does this or that, and he goes, hang on a minute, this guy is really annoying me with what he's doing, so I'm going to take it to him. I'm going to go and knock him out. That's not Usyk's style, not at all. His style is to box, his style is to be mentally strong, and he was also that in the Chisora fight. He was definitely trying different things and trying to fight Chisora's way. Of course, as well, he wants to make a statement. Imagine if he is able to stop Derek Chisora. That makes a great statement and sends a message to Anthony Joshua. And then there is a mega showdown between those two in their next fight. Now, of course, he did not get the stoppage, but still, he went after that. And I do believe that he was seeing what might work and what might not. The interesting thing is, since then, he has gained around 15 pounds in muscle, and he's around 230 now, or based off of that video he put, I believe, on his Twitter page of him weighing in, and he was around 230. Now, he weighed in for the Chisora fight around 215, 216, maybe 217 for that one. So he has gained a little bit of muscle, and perhaps he realised in the Chisora fight that he needs to be a little bit stronger, maybe on the inside, and doesn't want to be bullied so much. I mean, again, going in there with AJ, it's a different style, so he's not going to have AJ walking him down, pressuring him, leaning on him, pushing him back, hitting him all the time at different angles. AJ is more calculated, AJ is more neat with his work than Derek Chisora is. Chisora will find a way to land his punches, he will find a way to continue to move forwards, whereas AJ will set them up usually behind the jab. So you could expect to see some kind of standoff between these two unless Usyk is hoping to drag him into a dogfight, which I wouldn't imagine he'd want to do, because if there's going to be a 50-50 who lands first wins, you'd put your money on Anthony Joshua landing that punch. So given that, I would expect Usyk to come in and be a bit more awkward to try and make Anthony Joshua fall short and make him pay. I would not expect Usyk to come in and try and fight in the same way he did against Derek Chisora. Perhaps he was trying different things, but in that fight, had they given it to Chisora or even scored it a draw, I don't think we would complain all that much. I mean, give it to Usyk, give it to Chisora, give it a draw. It was a very close fight, and as I said, many fighters will find it difficult in there with Chisora. He's not an easy fighter to keep away, and there are certain ways of doing it, of course. Having a powerful punch, good jab, the ability to move as well, those are things that will make it difficult for Chisora to implement his style, but the ability to be able to do that isn't something that everyone has. You have to hand it to Usyk for going in there and fighting the fight that Chisora wanted, and I guess, in the opinion of the judges, still coming out on top. So if we look at all of it, you can see that Usyk will represent different challenges for Anthony Joshua. He might even be a different fighter to what we have seen before. In fact, I would count on it, because he is putting on a little bit of extra weight, but you would hope also he's going to have that maneuverability and the engine as well. He is coming up to heavyweight, so he's always going to be the smaller man. There is no need for him to try and be the bigger man in there, especially with AJ, because AJ is a big heavyweight. He's never going to be that guy. So there are things in which he can use to make it difficult for Anthony Joshua, but Joshua can do the same. And I believe that that is what will happen. AJ will try and make it difficult for Usyk and make sure that it is known he is fighting a heavyweight, not a cruiserweight or not someone around fringe world level. He is fighting the unified heavyweight champion of the world. That is why Anthony Joshua is saying Usyk does not represent any challenge he hasn't seen before. A different style, yes, but he has dealt with different styles in the past. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.